We are taught from childhood that life is a linear ladder. You study hard, you get the degree, you land the job, and you win. He did exactly that. Born into a typical Indian middle income family, every rupee spent on his education was an investment measured in hope. Engineering degree? Done. MBA? Done. Out of 300 eager candidates sitting in that crowded placement hall, he was the one chosen. A relationship manager at a premier bank in India. He felt like he had conquered a mountain. But mountains look different depending on who is watching. When he told his father, the response wasn't a celebration. It was a shrug. It's just a glorified clerk job, his father said. In one sentence, the achievement of a lifetime was reduced to nothing. The joy evaporated, and in that quiet room, a dangerous seed was planted. I need to prove myself. To prove his worth, he turned to the ultimate Indian crucible, the UPSC Civil Services. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Time behaves strangely when you're preparing for an exam. Outside his window, the world moved at lightning speed. On LinkedIn and Instagram, his friends were getting promoted, buying cars, moving abroad, and getting married. On weekends, he would silently scroll through his phone, watching them gather for dinners, playing cricket, laughing. He was there, but he was a ghost. By the third attempt, he came heartbreakingly close to the cutoff. Just a few marks, just a sliver of luck. But in UPSC, close is the same as zero. By year 4, the fire hadn't just dimmed, it was burning him. The confident MBA graduate who once stood tall out of 300 people was gone. His posture changed. His voice grew quieter. His parents' disappointment turned into open disdain. "You're a fool," they said. Then came the fifth year, the final attempt. The final door slammed shut. It was over. The dream was dead. After UPSC failed, he needed to rebuild. He returned to banking. Same bank, different branch, but carrying invisible wounds. His target was simple: get promoted, become an assistant manager. It meant a 15% salary hike, a small cabin, and the validation that he wasn't a failure. And so he worked and worked and worked. For 2 more years, he submitted reports no one read, attended meetings that could have been emails, and smiled at clients he found insufferable. One day the call came: promoted, assistant manager. He should have felt triumph. Instead, he felt a deep, uncomfortable question. What took so long? While he was preparing for UPSC, others had moved ahead. His colleague from the same batch, a man who had barely passed the MBA entrance exam, was now managing him. His family threw a small celebration. His mother told the relatives. "He got promoted," she said proudly, as if announcing the discovery of a new planet. He sat at the table and ate the food and smiled the smile of someone who knows that the celebration is precisely 5 years too late. The cabin was small, glass-walled, and overlooked by the entire office. He had imagined a promotion as a door closing between himself and the noise. Instead, it was a fish tank. Everyone could see in, he could see out, and neither view was particularly good. By his early 30s, there was a new pressure: marriage. His parents began the search. They showed him profiles on a matrimony website, like a menu at a restaurant, except every dish came with a price tag and a 5 year plan. The profiles asked for settled men. Settled. That word followed him. He went to the family gatherings. He smiled at the aunties. He answered the questions. What do you earn? Do you have a car? Any loans? He went on one such meeting. The girl was lovely. She was also clearly doing a job interview disguised as coffee. She asked about his plans for growth. He almost laughed. That evening he sat with his coffee and thought about all the people who once surrounded him. He was still here, still scrolling, still waiting for life to begin. The first time the thought occurred to him, he was 34. He was reading a business magazine, the kind people leave behind on flights. He made a business plan which he titled Phase 1, as if phases 2 and 3 were already clear in his mind. He asked his parents for 20,000 rupees to start. His father looked at him the way a bank manager looks at a client who wants to open a savings account without any savings. He recruited a friend. The friend brought his own startup idea. They spent 2 months having productive meetings about whose startup was more feasible. The startup died the way most startups die, not in one dramatic moment, but in small surrenders. He opened the laptop one evening and instead of looking at his business plan, he typed best paying jobs in India for 2025. He already had one of those. The salaryman's annual review came every April. He had learned that nodding this year his rating was meets expectations. Last year it was meets expectations. The year before meets expectations. 4,000 rupees per month. After inflation, roughly negative 800. The drawer was the same drawer where the business plan had been. On the train home, this is fine. And the year after, and the year after that. His wife asked how it went. He said fine. It had become the sound of his life. Reliable, invisible, sufficient. A man who had learned to stop asking questions he didn't know how to answer.